we certainly have 4 adopted children, two from private adoption and 2 from the orphanage. So we have 2 different aspects of adoption to compare. By far, adopting a child as a baby is far easier. It just is. Adopting an older child is difficult. It's rewarding, but it is a long path. And there are so many unforeseen obstacles that you are going to come across that no one has prepared you for. I mean, you have no idea what you are walking into. And for us, we certainly had our share of problems. And I would have loved to have had some counseling from someone that had gone through this, or someone that sort of prepared us more of what we should expect, because I really didn't know what I was getting myself into. They say that after 6 years old, a child is mentally who they are going to be, meaning what's ever happened to them in the first 6 years of their life really determines who they're going to be. So I think an older child is anything over 4. I mean, even a 4-year-old can have life experiences that can affect their life as adults. Being abandoned by a parent, seeing a parent do drugs, going along, if a parent is a prostitute, going along with the parent as they're hooking. I mean, all of that comes back. And I think with my kids, certainly abandonment issues of the mother, the father, come into play in some of their behaviors. I think also that attachment disorder, you know, they can detach themselves very easily from things in life that would rock most of us, you know. And I think the other thing that I would say from my observation with my 2 children, now 24 and 27, is that they handle situations differently that you or I would. And I'm talking about sort of really major things in their lives. They seem to not get over them easier, but deal with them in a different manner than you or I might deal with. I think one of the benefits of adopting an older child is that in your mind you are giving back, you are doing something wonderful for humanity. And the older these children get that sit in orphanages, the less desirable they are. Nobody is pining to adopt a 15-year-old or a 14-year-old or a 13-year-old. People want babies or 1- and 2-year-olds. So to be able to open your home to an older child is a really wonderful thing to do. But I mean, I think it's really important that you research this and you understand what you're getting yourself into, because there have been cases of people that have adopted children and have returned them. And the damage that does to a child is astronomical, to be rejected once again and not wanted. So you can change the course of a child's life, and I think that's extremely noble, and that's probably one of the best things that you'll ever do in your entire life. I think the really frustrating thing is that when you adopt an older child particularly, is that you think that these people coming into your home are going to just really appreciate what you've done for them and how much you're going to do and how you're going to change the course of their lives. And the absolute bottom truth is they do not appreciate it, and they will not understand that for 10, 15, 20 years down the road. So, you know, if you're thinking that you're going to be thanked and just, that's not going to happen. You know, in fact, in some cases and at some time, they almost make you think that they're owed. They're owed in life because they didn't get it in their first go around. They're owed. And that's difficult when you have other children, to try to find the balance, because, you know, in life you're not owed anything. We all get great things in life, and we get some bumps as well. So trying to make them understand that you don't owe them anything and trying to love everybody equally, you know, and sometimes in their perception, you don't. So I always at Christmas tried to make sure that there were equal number of presents, that I spent about the same on every child, but the perception often was that you love them more, you treat them differently. And we certainly tried not to, whether that is their perception of it or whether it is reality. We try to be as fair to all of our children as we possibly could. What goes on in the orphanages is very secretive, you know, and when you start to talk to the kids about if you wet your bed, they wrapped a wet sheet, your sheet that you wet, you had to wear it for the rest of the day. That, you know, they were drinking at the age of 9, having sex, drinking, stealing, smoking. All of this is going on in the orphanage, so that, you know, when you get this little child has already experienced much of life that we don't experience till we're well into our teenage years. These are kids that are survivors. They know how to survive, and they will survive. Whether you love them or not, they will survive. And they can, in their minds, justify stealing, lying. I would say another thing that the older children have in common is a little bit of naivety. Even though they have street smarts, they are still naive. They are still very naive as to the world outside.